Good morning. Well, good day. I'm not sure exactly what time of day you're watching this, but it's morning where I am. So I'm gonna take this podcast in a different direction now because initially I was gonna do 40 days for Lent, and my life kind of unraveled in that 40 days, but in this weird kind of best kind of worst kind of way, or worst kind of best kind of way, depending on how you look at it. It is Easter Monday, 2025. I spent the weekend with my mom. I attended the funeral of my best friend's mom. One of my best friends, because I realize I have several best friends, and all of them are equal in the sense that they have all served a purpose in my life, and they've all lifted me up. This friend in particular, her name is Benita. She's like a rock for me, and I needed to go, and I needed to be there to be a rock for her. I can't express to you how overwhelming that sense of urgency and that sense of purpose and that sense of duty and that sense of rightness, it's been hanging over me like a weight because I needed to be there for my friend. I can't speak for anybody but me, but it was overwhelming. And I realized that's just part of who I am. It's part of how I'm wired. I'm just different that way. Not better, not worse. But I've been living with this idea of, do I add up? Am I enough? Do I meet muster? And I think we're all living through this weird, are we meeting muster thing? I can't help people be better, but I want this podcast to be a way that I try to express how I'm trying to be better. Part of this is transparency. This podcast for me is about transparency. Benita means the world to me. Derek, another best friend, means the world to me. Kevin means the world to me. Miranda means the world to me. Terry means the world to me. These are people who mean so much to me. Orlando also means so much to me. You know, my mother, when she drives me crazy, she still means so much to me. I need to be transparent with all of you about how much these people mean to me, because when I talk about them, I need you to understand I take them very seriously. So my weekend was spent with my mother, and my weekend was spent by my friend's side. I was being transparent with them about how I feel, how much I love them. I'm being transparent with you today about who I am. And I'm wearing a tank top actually for a reason, because I want you to kind of take a look at these stretch marks. Now, you probably have known me years, maybe decades. You've probably seen me in a tank top, may have noticed them, may not have noticed them. They're all over my body. I say that because I'm showing you my stretch marks. I'm showing you my scars. But those scars are very much a part of who I am every single day. When I walk out of this door, I walk out of this door with every single one of these stretch marks. Every single one. And the ones on the stomach that you can't see, and the ones on the back and inner thigh. And I was fat my whole adult life. And so I have excess skin and I have stretch marks. My mom, I asked her to look at my back, and my mom looked at my back and she said, "Oh my gosh, you have a tattoo." And I was like, "Yeah." And she said, "Well, I don't think I ever really see you shirtless." And I thought, well, you don't. And in that moment over the weekend, I thought, yeah, I live with a certain shame. Even though I tell you I don't have anything to be ashamed of, which I tell my mom, it's like, I don't understand shame. But in a way I do, because I cover them up. In my own way, I make sure that they're never seen. I'm quite pale underneath this tank top because that skin doesn't really see the light of day. There are people in my life that I love. I've now named them, but how often do I say that to them? How they are my best friend, because each of them is my best friend in the way that I need them to be that best friend. Yesterday, driving back from my mom's house, I had a moment to have a conversation with my friend Orlando. And it was brief, but I hung up from that conversation, and probably for 15, 20 miles maybe, I just thought about that conversation. Ren, in case you hear it, is howling downstairs again, but my neighbors are cutting grass, and also it's Easter break, so my other neighbor's playing in the front yard. Life is happening around me as I do this podcast, but I'm living, right? We're all just living in these moments. And if you didn't pick up that little side thing where I talked about my neighbors, I already lost my train of thought, which is also who I am. These scars, that's who I am, right? I don't show you that all the time, but I'm showing you that now. That's what this podcast is. Those friends, I have not done a very good job of showing them how much I love them. But I'm promising them all that I'm going to try my best to do better. It may not be exactly how I envision it in my head, but I'll tell each of you, I am envisioning a better, stronger relationship in my head. I am envisioning a deeper connection in my head, because I realize that's what's happening in my faith, this deeper relationship, and it's making me feel really good. The deeper I get into the relationship, the better I feel about my life. And so for those people that I love, get ready for a deeper commitment. I'm showing you my scars. I'm showing you who I am. And I'm going to start talking about things that bother me, things that amaze me, things that amuse me. But I hope that the stories in some way help you just think about life in a different way, through a different lens, because my lens is really different. I guess that's really all I have to say. Think about your scars. You don't have to show them to people, but think about them. Know who you are. Know why you have them. I know why I have all these scars. I also think a lot about the ones that are internalized. I've given a lot of thought to those this past year. And I now understand better. I thank God for the enlightenment I've had over this last year to understand better not only what the scars are, but why I have them. And where I was to blame for those scars, I humbly apologize. But where I held myself responsible for things that were not my responsibility, I let that go. And on both sides, I gave it to God. So I'm living in a new kind of peace. I'm going to start talking about that peace. But for now, go in peace.